Thanks for coming out, everybody. Obviously, a number of transactions over the last several days. Matt Murray from Ottawa, Ilya Samsonov signed as a free agent from Washington. In addition, today with Adam Gaudette and Nicholas Aube-Kubel, and then the obvious departures from our organization. We're thankful for the efforts of Jack Campbell, Ilya and Ilya Mikheyev over the last several years. Obviously did a very nice job for us and were rewarded well elsewhere. So we're very happy for them and look forward to continuing to move along here. So I'll open for questions. Go ahead, Kevin.
The difference in pay between Jack AAV-wise, and the term is different, but
Yeah.
AAV-wise, it's not that great between Jack
Sure.
and Matt. What's the difference in your mind?
I think the difference is, as you alluded to, would just be the term. As we got through and evaluated, we knew very clearly from Jack's representatives what the combination of terms and dollars would look like, and for us, we thought it's a 28-year-old goaltender coming in, which was the same age I think Jack was when he came in here. And a 28-year-old goaltender with that pedigree obviously doesn't, I think everyone knows, and Matt would acknowledge himself, not a great finish in Pittsburgh, and the first year in Ottawa. The things that were for me the determining factors were, number one is pedigree, but number two, and more importantly, I think in the short run, the way that he performed once he came back up from Belleville there before getting injured at the end of the year. So showing the signs of the goaltender that he's been in the past. And it's a 2-year commitment with him and a 1-year commitment with Ilya. They're both young enough that we will give them the runway here and see if they can become the long-term solution in net. But we also have our own young goaltenders coming and on the way. So we're hopeful that over the course of the next 2 seasons, starting with this season here, that these guys can all push themselves and begin to run with it here for us.
How much did the cup experience come into play with signing guys like Goalie?
I think that it's nice and it's great that he's gone through that as a key member of that group, David. But to me, I think Sheldon really felt that he could add a lot, and with losing Ilya's speed, Nicholas provides that, a lot of it. And forechecking, pressure, able to get up the ice, shown in major junior and also in the American League and in the NHL. If he has time and space, he can also shoot, and so we'll look to continue to work with him, bring him along. Obviously, a good season with Colorado, and the cup experience I think always helps. How much I'm not sure every single year, but you'd rather have it than not.
What's the personal connection with Matt Murray mean to you?
I think that I think it's a little bit overstated a bit, Lance. I mean, I know what he's about, and I've seen him in challenging moments, but at a much different level a long time ago. I think the things that override all of that for me are what he did in Pittsburgh, 5 years ago, and then the way that he played this year in the back half of the year to kind of show that that's still there. I think knowing the character of the person always helps, but and having a previous experience with him always helps. But if not for that pedigree and what he's accomplished and what he showed, that it wouldn't be a fit. So there's lots of players that I know in the league from my time with the Sioux or with the Marlies or here that just aren't fits, and we deem Matt as a fit.
Both Ilya and Matt have been starters in the league before. Do
Yep.
you have a sort of an idea as to who you think might be the guy that is the primary starter, or is that still open to competition?
It'll be wide open to competition. We'll give them both a good run here, and our hope is that both play well as they can, and we'll get to work with them here mid-September and get them rolling. But I think that'd be a great thing for us if both of them play the way that we think that they can.
What intrigues you the most about Ilya?
Samsonov?
Yeah.
I think he's very young. Obviously has a great pedigree and had great potential. I think just in going through his situation and speaking with with his people here today and getting to learn about it a little bit, he seems very highly motivated. And the thing that stood out to me, Josh, more than anything, was that he was he really wanted it to be a 1-year kind of show me, bet on yourself type deal, which is not always common with players coming off of the shock, I think, of being non-QO'd when he wasn't expecting it. And so that was impressive to me, and combined with the evaluation of our player personnel department and goaltending department of what he can become if we can work with him and get him on the right track.
Outside of signing your own RFAs, do you feel like you're done now, or do you think you're going to be
you looking at a second wave?
No, I think we've got the ability to continue to look and see what the best fits are going to be as the market kind of begins to dry a little bit, and we have our own flexibility and different things that we can do. We have space, we have roster spots that are still available for really all different kinds of players. We'd like to add another depth piece on defense, and up front it's very flexible in terms of what we can add there. So I don't think that we're done. I think we're certainly open to depth on D, and then certainly really any combination of players up front. But we'll just see how things shake out. They're obviously going to have to be guys that look at our situation and say, I can go there for a year or two on relatively low dollars, and the group would be a fit for me to have success, and then parlay that into something greater.
Are you exploring the trade market at all still, or?
Everything's wide open. We're always exploring the trade market. I mean, that's the part of the job, and I think that's a little bit on the back burner today at the start, but then probably pick back up as it goes.
You guys did your due diligence with Murray in terms of his medical situation. What gives you confidence that he's going to be able to stay healthy here moving forward?
Yeah, we were able to actually, Ottawa was great, and Pierre, we were actually able to have him come in and go through a full run of his medical situation with our medical staff and performance staff. So we felt pretty good about where he was at with that. I think with any player, there's always a risk, and any player that's had injuries in the past, that risk is, there's no reason to dance around it. It's always greater, but in his situation, we were able to bring him in, which is not common at this time of year, and get a full rundown on him, and we feel good about where he's at in the work that he's putting in to make sure that he stays in that condition.
What do you like about Adam?
He's someone that we played against him a lot. He was in Vancouver there, and then obviously went to Chicago for a short stint, then Ottawa this year. He's, especially when he first came out of Northeastern, he was excellent at Northeastern. Then when he came out with Vancouver, he had that over 30 points in 50 some games, and he's had a few years where it's not gone as smoothly for him. I thought at the World Championships for the U.S., he really showed that form that he had when he first came out from Northeastern, and looked to be confident again and empowered a little bit with Team USA. So we were, it's one of these bets that we make a few times every summer, and he seems very ambitious to get to work. And just in speaking with him today and doing the background on him as we got set and talking to people that he's trained with and such, he's certainly, we learned he had a bit of an illness that caused him to lose a lot of weight, and he's got that figured out now, so he's stronger than ever, and we just think it's a guy that we can work with here and see what happens.
When there's so many guys who are just not qualified, does that help with teams that are kind of cap-struck, that they're younger guys that are willing to take maybe a little bit lower to bet on themselves again and turn that into something else?
I think there's a combination of it, Dave. I think one of the things that also helps here is other players have seen guys, whether they've been free agents or they've been in it, like if you go back last year, like a Camp and Bunting that came in and had some success, but then also we brought Bush in that Arizona trade with Richie, and he comes in and plays well, and I'm real happy for him, that he was able to find a good spot, and Buffalo will be a great fit for him with as they continue to come along with their young D. So it's for us, I find that it's becoming a situation. I think it's really just because of the players that they can play with here, that they look at it and it's enticing for them. So I think that certainly helps. Whereas in the past, when the cap was steadily climbing, there was more dollars readily available for free agents that could be paid what they felt they were going to get when they walked into the marketplace.
Are you looking to change the shape kind of the fourth line we're going to have?
Oh, I think so. I think we want it to be really effective. Jonas, we've got all different types of guys. Obviously got Clifford and Simmons returning, but you also have Joey Anderson and Nick Robertson and Curtis Douglas and Bobby McMahon and Pontus Holmberg pushing from the minors. Now you add Obe Kubel today and others that are in that mix to be there. So, we would like it to be a line that can be heavily relied on for us like our others, but more physicality, more competitiveness, and drive the play down the ice and be relied upon for Sheldon that way.
How did you end up with 25% retention from Matt Murray, maybe not more?
That was what we agreed on with them. That seemed to be the common thing that they were able to do when in all the discussions they were having on Matt. So We'd love to have pushed for more and done a better deal, but it was either make that deal or move on elsewhere, and we elected to make the deal.
Did you try to get a third team involved? And Blackwell?
Not, I wouldn't say so. No, on either.
Did you try to get a third team involved to take another 25?
I think, I mean, as you see today, and we've gone through it in the past, the cost of doing that to us would outweigh the entire state of affairs, especially on a 2-year deal with that. It's heavily backloaded in cash. So we look at that, and we've been involved in a lot of those deals, both for and against, and the cost of it to us would just far outweigh the benefit of doing so, especially because of our belief in Matt.
How has there been any
Either way.
Has there been any progress, Kyle, on Rasmus Sandin's front?
I mean, I think we'll get back to Louis Gross and Rasmus here in the coming days. Our focus has been here now, but I don't think it's all too complex a situation.
How would you describe the conversations that you had with Jack in the negotiating process? I mean, he's been so upfront about his love for this city and this fan base and everything.
Yeah, he and I talked on Saturday, and then we've exchanged texts and calls here today, and we'll talk later tonight. But I mean, obviously he came in here at a time when we really desperately needed, Fred was injured, and he came in from LA. His year to that point in LA was not has not going as well for him, and they were going to bring Cal Peterson in, and so he came in here at a time where we really needed him, and was outstanding for us. And then obviously everyone has watched the subsequent years since, right, where he's kind of taken over, and you see how much he cares about the team and the city and his teammates, but also the level of accountability, which you would all see every time it was on Zoom, and then now we're back here, that he takes every single night, and you certainly appreciate that. You never forget that type of stuff, but in the end, you have to make decisions that are best, you think, for the future of the team, regardless of what you think about the person personally.
Where do things stand with Pierre Engvall as well?
We qualified him, so it'll come to a solution. I don't think that one's as complex either. And Claude Lemieux and Brandon have talked a lot about it. It'll be an arbitration settlement at worst, or an arbitration award at worst. But hopefully we can get done before that.
Is the plan to keep John at center, or do you see maybe looking for help there?
I think John, to me, until I don't see signs right now that he needs to move over. If we have someone that's a good enough center, obviously I don't think anyone's going to replace Austin in that role. But if there's somebody there that it makes sense to shift John over, or have another center that comes in that has to shift over themselves to play with Austin or John, I think anything that makes our team better, we'll look at, Jonas.
Would you look at moving Mitch to the middle?
It's not anything that's ever come up. I don't know that we want to. Mitch has been a first team All-Star right wing the last 2 years, so we got enough things to worry about rather than that stuff. Yeah.
What sort of defenseman are you looking for? Are you looking more for that Labushkin kind of physicality, or what are you looking for?
If there's preferably a right shot with some physicality and some competitiveness, size and strength, that would be what we look for, Mark.
Having signed Hildeby, how excited are you to see him at the Eagle camp?
Great. I mean, we would have been excited to see him regardless, but having that done and having him sign now makes it just a little bit more clear. It was the Newport Sports represents him, and they were excellent to deal with right after the draft. Obviously, he's a little bit older, so getting that one done and getting that developmental track moving a little bit quicker would be great. He's got by rights we have to send him back to Farstad next year, but we'll see how it goes in development camp and where he stands in the order. It's a little bit different a prospect because of the age. So, but we're quite excited about him. It's been a bit of an unorthodox path, but be excited to have him come in here.
Is the door still open for someone like Kasha, depending on how?
Yeah, door's still open for sure. We loved having him here, and I mean, I think it was a good year for him as well. And so whatever, we'll see how things shake out here in the next day or so, and if it can work out, then that'd be great.
Do you think Rasmus could be an option on the right side defender moving forward here, or?
The more versatility we can have, the better, Mark. So I mean, I like him on the left. He's a left shot, and I mean we have the guys there, but between as I think I said, I don't forget, maybe it was a week ago now when we were in Montreal before the draft. I mean, for us, Timothy and Rasmus continuing to develop in their spots is going to be key in the next number of years as some of our other guys, continue to age a little bit. We need those guys to take on more minutes, more responsibility, and really be the future of the group on defense for us. Perfect.
Look into banning Edmonds or
That's just the way it goes sometimes. I mean, it's great for them. They'll be the two guys that have gone there in the last 2 years have been great people and players for us. So I mean, I'm happy for them and was happy to see the success for them this season. But that's sometimes just the way it goes coincidentally. But I don't think we'll be banning anybody yet. Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.